that was the bell. Boy, 2 weeks ago you guys were standing before I even rang it. This year you're sitting here looking like it was real.
We're not sure.
Good morning and welcome. Happy World Polio Day today. We are going to sing America the Beautiful. Sue's pulling double duty this morning.
Do you mind if I go back? In the meantime, bow your heads, please. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to be here today and to share fellowship with other Rotarians. Thank you for our visitors, guests, and for the food we eat. And thank you for our many blessings. Grant us the wisdom, will, and the way to live the four-way test in service above self. Amen.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you to Megan, our greeter, and Gordy, and Ann, and
Doug.
Doug. That's right. Thank you guys for your views this morning. Mike, who do we have for guests? Okay.
This is not what we want to see.
Yep. It's all right.
Makes it easy, but you need to bring some guests.
I was away last week.
You have some initiative about bringing guests.
I'll get back in my groove. Give me a week. That's a great segue, Mike. Thank you. So everybody knows what we're doing this year, right? Everybody brings one guest this year. Thank you. All right. So I have a wise saying of the week from Peter, and this is a good one. No games without hands. It is absolutely the truth. Okay, so the Rotary Foundation Seminar and Grant Training is going to be Saturday, November 2nd at the Montgomery County Community College. Cindy, are you going to go to that? Even though you could probably actually run the training.
I'm doing the grant training.
Oh, okay, good. So she's going to be running it. So if anyone wants to go there, at least you'll have a familiar face. And there is a board meeting today immediately following. Just a reminder to everybody that board meetings are worth makeups. And we do have a lot to cover. We've been running overtime, so I'm going to move the meeting along today, and we're going to get immediately following, I'm going to start the board meeting. So all board members present and committee and anyone else that wants to join in, please make your way over there right away. Any announcements from the floor? Alicia?
The International Women's Day Committee has a meeting afterwards, and we just meet in this room. Thank you.
Karen?
I'd just like to thank everybody who turned up to the Make a Difference Day. It was very successful. We had wildlands conservancy. We planted trees. That was fantastic. We had food preparation at the Science Church. Thank you very much. Rick for baking muffins, and that was much appreciated. And we also had some money that covered some of this. Hillside School Cleanup, the Kindness Project, and the finishing off with the Halloween parade, and the marshals, and the cleanup the next day. So thank you to everyone. I will be giving these names to you.
Karen, anyone who participated in Mad Day, do you want to stand up for us? That'd be great. That's great participation. Thank you very much. Gary?
So, if you didn't get a chance to participate in Mad Day, we've got another opportunity. So November 16th, we're going to be raking leaves over at the Canals Homestead, getting that cleaned up for them. We do that every year. Don't have the time yet, but mark the 16th as a date, probably somewhere around 8:30 we'll start. I know donuts always show up and coffee, so it's a good time. We usually get it done pretty quickly. I want to say we're usually done in about 2 hours tops. So, but no, you'll see one of my fun emails come out in the next couple of days. Thanks.
Great. Eileen?
Well, after last week's collection, we have 210 boxes of macaroni and cheese, so give yourself a hand. We still have a couple weeks to collect, but I'm sure they'll be appreciative of anything over the 200 that we were goaled to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I didn't know we had any Interact students. Oh, Joe, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Steve, I'm standing up just for you.
Trust me, he deserves every little bit of that from walking in this morning.
So I see that the Christmas decorations and all that are in the store, so it's appropriate to mention the Friends of the Emmaus Public Library are having their holiday book sale December 6th. So please come, buy some books, help out the Friends. We give all of the money that we raise, we give it to the library. What time is it, Steve?
It's 6 to 8, and it's a wine and cheese reception.
Wine and cheese, and there's all kinds of hors d'oeuvres, and it's really good. And I usually bring a couple of bottles of my brother's homemade wine, which is like 50% alcohol. So we'll have a great time.
Okay, and Joe and Gary, I know that you guys, if you could put an email out, that would be great, and also get some information to my students. Karen?
Turning Point have requested, like they did last year, for single full-size blankets or comforters. That'd be a great help to them. So starting from now, really, if you would like to do that, that would be great. And then the other thing is I got a request from Zion's Church, the pantry. They were looking for Christmas gifts. That's something maybe we could do. They have 75 kids that they will need to do Christmas gifts for. I take on some for the Sir Optimus, and I kind of think the Emmaus Rotary could do something as well. So show of hands, if we think you could be interested in that. Okay. So I could get some slips, and then, it's $25 basically. You're shopping for someone, you're not wrapping the gifts. But it's going to be very soon. It would have to be completed by the 5th of December. So it's going to be a quick turnaround. The blankets, the full blankets for the twin blanket.
Thank you, Karen. Again, I suggest if you can go into the club runner, throw out an email. This stuff comes on so fast. I mean, it really does. A lot going on. Sir, there, your mustache.
The past couple of years, a book's been passed around, a great read, biography that was written by Wilmer. I just finished it, I have it, and I will pass it on to anybody that wants it next. Just let me know. Rick, you'll get it next.
Thanks, Ron. Mike?
Two quick things. First of all, for a Make a Difference Day, thank you for all the pictures that I got. I asked everybody to send me just 5 or so. And I think of pictures, I think of what Phoenix Dunn does with a camera or just one thing. It's been technologically interesting figuring out how to pull these up, because I got some in a text last night. I got them in emails, different ways that weren't just JPEGs coming in an attachment. So that's good. So I've taken them, the ones I've received so far, except the ones in the text last night from Tony, they're on the website. Okay, so go to the website, all the ones I'm going to put a few of them in the newsletter itself, just because there were quite a few of them. Secondly, speaking of books, if you remember there was a sidewalk sale that Seal and her crew ran over in Chester. And I got this book, The Rotary Club Murder Mystery. I had to pick it up and so if anybody's interested, I'm done with it. It's a pretty easy read.
Ashley, there you go.
She has some. But you have to do a book report and write up.
Thanks, Mike. Any other announcements from the floor? Megan?
I just wanted to thank the Fellowship Committee for making our activity really special on Tuesday at the Base Public Library. You can see some of the pumpkins that we brought over today. We had about 25 people come out. It was a lot of fun, and a big thank you to all of you for donating the pumpkins. They're pretty big pumpkins. It was really nice of them. And Blick Art Materials provided the paints. The library provided the room, obviously, and we provided the fellowship. It was really nice. We also took the pumpkins over to the Legend of Allentown, to the Memory Care Center. So that was
We wanted to show off the here, so I'll take these after over the Those y'all can do it as well.
Thanks so much. The committee also baked little treats and brought things to the nice thing. Thank you. Our next one's gonna be November 30th on Small Saturday in conjunction with the Emmaus Main Street Partners. They're gonna be doing totes and giveaways and things to different businesses, so we'll get some more information out and we can all go shopping as a group about to lunch downtown. Thanks.
Awesome. Seriously, Karen?
Just a quick one. We received $312 for the Wheels of Time. That was when we made breakfast, so just to let you know that $312
Okay, anyone else? Karen? Okay, thanks everybody, and we have a lot going on. So we have a lot going on outside of our weekly meetings. Thank you to everybody truly for getting involved. The participation that I'm seeing coming through is fantastic. So I'm very, very proud of that. Very proud of all of us for that. Okay, let's do the raffle.
Karen, how about you pick the first one? And your pumpkin's amazing. She did the spot and lanternfly pumpkin, by the way.
062.
062?
Nope.
062? Anyone?
Nope.
Oh, hey. All right. There you go. Big winner. You want to pick the next one? You want to donate that? Okay. You pick the next winner.
Come on, Irv.
034.
That's not what I was looking for.
Thank you, Larry. Yeah.
Well, you can use that money on your trip.
Larry Hagan and I switched tickets this morning. Thank you for lunch, Larry.
044.
Where are you going, McDonald's?
Oh,
Sorry.
there you
It's a little
go.
back.
That's
Are you putting it back? All right, we'll put it back in there.
And Sarge, you can keep control.
I can keep control? Yeah, can I have that? Follow up in Karen's vein, in case you didn't know, we got publicized in East Bend Press. There's a nice little article last week about our Make a Difference Day. I didn't want Karen to stand up and there's a lot of people that paid me fines already. This is nice. I just walk in, they say I'm leaving early, I forgot my pin. Dale, you've made it so easy for me now. I can usually roll right to Happy Dollars, but I am concerned over here. We have two attorneys sitting side by side. Planning something over here.
I'm gonna pay $5 because I got a lot of information.
You're gonna pay $5? Good.
You're gonna storm the meeting.
Steve, is this president thing really hard? Because I see Lexa had to take today off because she filled in for you last week. Is it really hard for?
This is easy.
All right. You did a great job. Well, we better check on Lexa then, make sure everything's all good. Happy Dollars, people, let's roll. Mark.
On Friday night, Michelle and I went to Saucon Valley Rotary's hosting of a dueling pianos. You may have seen it out there. And this was the first time I went to it. Is at Silver Creek, now called Steel Club again. But what they're doing is trying to get some support among the various clubs for folks to come representing their club and give a donation towards Shelter Box. So I didn't know that this was going on. We're sitting there, and And they said, okay, we're gonna move into this thing, you know, how many people are buying a shelter box or sponsoring a shelter box? And people are raising their hand, 2 from this club and 1 from that club. And Michelle's looking at me like, don't you dare on the spot, you know, put us in for $1,000. So I didn't, but I was thinking it might be something neat for our club to do in the future. Maybe someone in our succession plan, you know, our succession line, you know, represent the club, and the amount that we were going to give to Shelter Box, we just give it through that event. And then we cover the cost of, you know, that person and maybe a +1 going. Just be a nice way to kind of get some camaraderie with the other clubs and raise some awareness of Shelter Box. So bottom line is, it's $3, I know this is long, is that I think they raised like $26,000.
Yeah,
so,
they raised over 25,000.
yeah, so really tremendous event, and it was very nice. So, you know, it's just something to think about, planting a seed for maybe next year or something like that. But very nice event. If you have an opportunity to go, I encourage you to do so.
Straight across, Gary.
Thank you. I have a happy dollar this morning. Thanks to Valerie and Sue Wenner for helping out with Sunday morning with the kids cleaning up. But the big thing is the first time ever I've gotten every single one of the vests back. So our vest count is perfect. So thanks for Sue for policing that. So I'm happy there.
Bill?
I have 10 happy dollars I'll cover from Mark. I just got back from Southern California with my son. We went out and visited my daughter and my brother. And Karen, I know you said what that is, but that still looks like a pumpkin from the movie The Joker.
They do have a red, so I had to do purple wings.
Okay.
Thank you, Don. So my wife and I get to celebrate a seminal moment in life next week. Our oldest son, Henry, is getting married. So we'll be heading to Connecticut. Unfortunately, I'm very upset in this next week's meeting. But we'll be looking forward to it. The whole family's coming in from all over the country, which is a rare event for us, and it's going to be a great time.
Happy dollars. I just came back from Mexico. My mom is going down, but she's alive. And I had the opportunity to participate in the Camelinas lens and audio things. I don't even know what the name is. They do this every year, and they help people from the community. It's open to the community. I was there for a whole day. 5 days a week from 9 to 5. They sell glasses to the people for $17 bifocals. They get the exam and everything. And they also get the hearing aids for $400 and something. They sold 550 glasses, and 100 and something hearing aids. They get a portion of it for the club. And we had a woman guest last week, although I wasn't there. But she's 71 years old. She's involved with hearing aids. And at some point, I would like to invite her so she can talk to us about this project that she does in the USA. That it also helps people, children, a lot of low-income people. Thank you.
30 happy dollars. Does that give me 30 minutes? And despite what you might think, I'm not 30 years old. My son is going to be 30 years old. He was born on Halloween. We're going to see Billy Joel on Friday to celebrate his birthday. And between my brother and I, we have 5 children. He's the only boy, so the pressure is on.
Steve, you have an announcement?
Yes, I have 20 happy dollars, Don. Yesterday I celebrated my 20th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
And thank you. And since Gordon isn't here this morning, I can tell you some stories I wouldn't be able to otherwise. So this one time we ran out of time.
We have time for a story then.
All right, so this one time, JP came up and took the microphone so Steve didn't have the story get back to his father-in-law. JP, come on up for our new member induction and our perfect attendance ceremony.
Steve's wife was a delightful lady, and at a Rotary function once,
I was saying, you know, how do you keep such a happy marriage? She says, JP, the secret to a happy marriage is Steve and I make sure that we set aside time for a romantic dinner 2 nights a week. I said, really? That's great. She says, yeah, I go on Tuesday and he goes on Friday. Sometimes the old ones are the best ones.
That was really impressive.
So good morning. I'd like to welcome you all to this meeting. Today we're going to celebrate Rotary membership in general. But before I begin, this is where I tell you to look for the blue songbooks on the table, but the songbooks are in the other room. But we're going to start with our Rotary anthem, R-O-T-A-R-Y. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. R-O-T-A-R-Y is known on land and sea. From north to south, from east to west, he profits most, serves the best. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. Thank you, Sue. Give yourself a hand. Today we're going to have the privilege of inducting 3 new members to the Emmaus Rotary Club, and we're going to welcome a transfer from another Rotary Club. As I've mentioned many times before, growing service organizations, or really any kind of organization, it can be a challenge. We've all heard, you know, oh, millennials aren't joiners, they want to do things virtually, they don't want to do things in the real world. Many of the traditional service organizations are experiencing systemic declines in their membership, and even Rotary itself has seen some clubs fold up in recent years. But our club, as I say every time I do this, is different. Unlike most organizations where the success is due to the extraordinary efforts of 1 or 2 people, our club thrives because of the daily commitment of our membership to share Rotary whenever and wherever they can. The enthusiasm of you folks is what results in the steady organic growth that's one of the hallmarks of a healthy and growing organization. So, at this point, I'd like to, do you have Steve Stauffer's bio?
I can wing it.
Okay, at this point, I'd like to invite our president and sponsor of our first new member to come up, Steve Gould. Steve is unable to be here this morning. I texted him at about 5 o'clock and he just was not able to make it. His name is Stephen Stauffer. He's married to Ashley and has 2 children, Addison and Parker. They live in Lorimer Country Township. Steve actually has a company called United Employment. He is a headhunter for the concrete industry. Very, very interesting business. He is a born and raised Lehigh Valleyan, and he is someone that has actually stepped up in a big way for us. He donated $1,000 towards the hunger program that Cindy and Rick got going, and I thought it was appropriate to bring him in. So, Steve, welcome to Rotary. Thank you. It's almost going to be like a virtual induction, really. Our next inductee is Patrick McNeilis. Do you have a bio for Patrick, Rick? You do. Come on up and share with us his bio.
So unfortunately, Patrick is down in Texas. He went to watch the Dallas Eagles game on Sunday. He was very disappointed. For that one Dallas fan who's in this club. Sorry. Anyway, so Patrick was born in the Tamaqua area. He was born and raised there, went to college, came out of college, went to work with his dad at an Allstate agency, actually had his own Allstate insurance agency. Met Jackie, his wife, currently. They have 2 children, Patrick Jr. and Hannah, 2 wonderful kids. From the Allstate agency, he sold it back to his dad, and then moved on to a nationwide agency. We are now located on 111 East Harrison Street, and Patrick and I work together.
Thank you. Is Ashley Laura here? Come on up, Ashley.
I have the pleasure of reading Wade George's bio. Wait, where are you at? Come on up. Yeah, we have to impress you today. street and we ran into each other in the hallway or something one day, and I invited him to Rotary, and now he's a member. So Wade is 37. He's married 14 years to his wife Cheryl. They have 2 boys, ages 11 and 6, named Wesley and Graham. He graduated from Quakertown High School, where he was a varsity baseball player in 2000. He has a bachelor's in history from Penn State Abington, and he currently lives in Percy, but they have their heart set on moving to Emmaus Borough soon. To be nearer to his wife's sister and also to his office on Main Street. He works in insurance and has been in property claims for over 15 years. He's a Phillies fan and a huge Green Bay Packers guy. Outside of being a dad, his favorite hobby is chasing and riding behind steam locomotives. So welcome Wade to Emmaus Rotary.
You get to stay up.
Better than being in front of them.
No, Okay, and our last inductee today is a transfer from, I want to say, Allentown West. Allentown. Okay. Shannon Boyle Schuster is a native of Allentown. After living in Virginia and Philadelphia for over 15 years, Shannon returned to the Valley to become head of the Swain School. Shannon is married to Reed Schuster, a wine specialist for the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board, and they have 2 boys, Maxwell and Beckett. In addition to teaching, Shannon enjoys cooking, reading, traveling, and golf when she gets the chance. Steve, Shannon, Wade, Patrick, you've been invited to join the world's oldest and most prestigious service organization. Since 1905, Rotary International has been a force for good here in America and around the globe. We welcome you to our ranks and invite you to live the Rotary motto of service above self. It's my pleasure today to present to you your official new member packets. The left side of the folder contains several basic Rotary items. There's 2 posters, one of the 4-way test and one of the object of Rotary. Both are suitable for framing. There's the car decal, the new member ribbon, which we don't generally use, and some information from the Russell Hampton Company. So you can use this to keep all of your Rotary information in as you get it over the years. Got out of order here. On behalf of the membership committee, it's also our pleasure to present you with your certificate of membership. Proudly displayed in your home or office, it will announce to all your membership in the world's foremost service organization. We also have a frame for you. The Rotary pin. This 24-cog, 6-spoke gear is known the world over as the symbol of Rotary International. Your Rotary pin is to be worn at any and all Rotary functions. This rule is strictly enforced by our Sergeant at Arms. Non-compliance will bring severe social and financial consequences. So there you are. You're also encouraged to wear your Rotary pin daily as a sign to all that you meet that you have embraced and try and live the Rotary ideal of service above self. If they catch you out in the wild without a Rotary pin, you'll hear about it at the next meeting. Past Rotary International President Bob Barth felt that a Rotary pin says this about the wearer: you can rely on me, I am dependable, I am reliable, I give more than I take, and I am available. I spoke earlier about how our club's continued success is due to the efforts of our membership at large to promote Rotary and encourage service-minded people to join our club. The membership committee and our board of directors felt those efforts should be highlighted and rewarded. And one way we decided was to publicly and permanently recognize those members who sponsored a new member with a special sponsor pin. Subsequent sponsorships will be recognized by a hanging number tab. So, Rick, I wasn't even sure, this is how many for you, sir? Number 3. Rick wasn't supposed to be here today, so I don't have his number 3 tab, but come on up for a minute so you can be recognized. President Steve Gould, I have a number, come on up here. Congratulations. I have a number 4 tab for Steve Gould, his 4th. And where's Ashley? 2. This is correct, number 2 for you, so congratulations again. So they already have the pins, so those are the hang tabs, so how about a round of applause? No, you're staying up here again. We're almost done. So again, as Steve said, let's continue to grow the club. Let's continue. I encourage all of you to continue to promote Rotary in your daily lives. When you meet people that you think might be an asset to the club, people that seem to have that desire for service above self, invite them out to a meeting. The first one is always on the club here at Brookside. And as my dear friend and mentor Bob Bisbee used to always say, he says, just invite them to breakfast. They tell you to say, you got to eat breakfast. You're not going to skip the most important meal of the day. And have them come out for breakfast and let Rotary do the rest. If service above self is the motto of Rotary, the 4-way test is our mantra. The simple and straightforward 4-way test was written by Chicago Rotarian Herbert J. Taylor in 1932. It was written to be an ethical and moral yardstick for his struggling club aluminum company. The test was first introduced to Rotary in 1939 during Taylor's term as Rotary Club president. Formally adopted by Rotary International in the 1940s, this 24-word test has never been altered. It remains today a central part of the permanent Rotary structure and is held as a standard by which all behavior should be measured. Wade and the rest of my fellow Rotarians, would you please join me in reciting the 4-way test? Of all the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Wade, thanks very much. Welcome to the Manchester Rotary Club. Normally I would have you come up and greet Wade, but we have some more on the program today. So please, before you leave, make sure you stop and introduce yourself. Maybe Wade will make his way back up here so everybody can introduce themselves at the end of the... Christians believe that although we're created in God's image, we fall short of the perfection that He intended for us. I think that might be why it's human nature sometimes to pursue and celebrate those rare instances of perfection. The baseball pitcher's perfect game, a 4.0 GPA, or the gymnast's perfect 10 routine. A Rotarian's desire for service above self is going to naturally draw them to the imperfect. Hunger, illness, ignorance. But we still strive for perfection in other ways. One of them is a perfect commitment to our attendance to our club. For our newer members, perfect attendance is achieved when a member achieves 100% of his club's scheduled meetings in a Rotary year. If one misses a meeting, they can receive a make-up credit for their missed meeting by attending a meeting of another Rotary Club or by attending an Manchester Rotary Club board meeting or committee meeting. In certain situations, meeting credit can also be given for our service projects. When our first nominee achieved perfect attendance a few years ago, she made a comment to the effect of, "I'm at a Rotary function once a day now." Hopefully that's no longer the case, but she still managed to maintain her perfect attendance. Ladies and gentlemen, would you give a round of applause to past District Governor of Rotary District 7430, Cindy Horniman, for 3 years. I'm sure we're going to want a photo. Our next honoree probably needs no introduction, and that's good because I don't have one for him. It's our Sergeant at Arms, Don Blows, with 3 years perfect attendance. So each honoree today gets a certificate and then a hang tab to go on their perfect attendance pin.
Now we get into the rarefied territory, and this is one of the things that I love about this particular program that we do every year. Our next honoree is a second-generation Rotarian. He is a past president and our Sergeant at Arms Emeritus. When clubs want to know how to monetize the office of Sergeant at Arms, they visit him. He's done so much for the club over the years, but really took the Sergeant at Arms position from the guy that checks to make sure people late to an integral, enjoyable part of the meeting, and also a good fundraiser for the club. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please help me congratulate Dale Dries on 47 years.
Congratulations, my friend. There's your tab, and there's your thing. Thank you. Today, as Steve pointed out and was in the trumpet this week, is World Polio Day. According to the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, there were only 16 cases of polio reported in 2019, down from 21 in 2018. Why am I talking about polio in a perfect attendance program? Trying to put our next honoree into perspective. The year his perfect attendance streak began, there were 58,000 cases of polio reported in the United States alone. His perfect attendance streak has now stretched out over 13 presidential administrations. Harry Truman, Dwight Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Donald J. Trump. Queen Elizabeth ascended to the throne 3 weeks before he joined Rotary. The Korean War was barely halfway over. When I called Russell Hampton for his tab, they said, "We don't make them that high. We're going to have the guys in the engraving department custom make you one." Stamp was 3 cents, a gallon of gas was 20 cents, and the minimum wage was 75 cents, or $30 a week. Assuming 50 Rotary meetings a year, he's attended approximately 3,350 Rotary meetings. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please give a resounding cheer for Wilmer Schultz, 67 years of perfect attendance. There you are. You have about 67 if my math's right.
Hey, wait, see what you got yourself into?
Oh, they did? Well, okay, good. So I did something good. So here you are, folks, your 2019 perfect. If you get a chance on your way out, stop and see the Wilmer. Here I thought these were our original club badges. Wilmer apparently has the original club badge. So I guess we do make changes every now and again. All right, very good. Wilmer, come on back.
Can you get real close
Thank you. All righty, that concludes today's recognition program and our celebration of Rotary membership. As I mentioned, please be sure to introduce. Wait, where are you? Make sure you introduce yourself. Wait, you just go stand by the door and shake hands with me. And then go out and be sure to introduce yourself to Wade. And I'm going to ask Steve DeGould to come on up and bring us on home with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Congratulations, Dan.
Thank you, JP. Congratulations to the perfect attendance honorees today, and Wade, Steve, and Patrick, and
Shannon.
That's correct, Shannon. for joining me. Okay, please stand. Remember, there is a board meeting immediately following, and we're going to start right away. So, here we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Dale, when you said you were 3, was that